Lessons. This is an episode that honestly I can't promise you you're going to learn anything, but I do think you need to buckle up and grab your ticket because the Hot Mess Express is leaving the station. This is Love Lessons.
Real life. Real talk. Real relationships. Faith-based tips, tricks, and challenges to improve your marriage and change your life. It's the Love Lessons Podcast with your hosts, Christian counselors and marriage experts, Dr. Zach and Blair Gammon.
So is it really a Christmas gift for them, or is this literally the example of a bundle of switches?
You know, it is, we had a saying when the girls were little, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. And that's what this is. Mm-hmm. We're taking a Christmas break, and you know, a wise podcaster, not sure that's us, but a wise podcaster is someone who typically has extra content left over. And so over the last, what episode are we on now? Like 11 or 12? Over the last several episodes, we have different tidbits of stuff that never made it to the show.
Yep.
And some of it's interesting. Some of it might be educational. Some of it's pretty stupid. But we're kind of pulling back the curtain. It's a little bit of a Wizard of Oz situation here.
Yeah. You get like hors d'oeuvres.
That's it.
Little bite sizes.
Are they heavy hors d'oeuvres or light hors d'oeuvres? And can you explain what the difference is? I'm not fancy enough when I get invited to something that says we'll have heavy hors d'oeuvres. I can't even spell hors d'oeuvres because...
You want the hors d'oeuvres, don't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like every single letter in the word hors d'oeuvre,
You can't even say it now.
hors d'oeuvres, I think feels like it doesn't belong there.
If someone puts out cheese and crackers and calls it hors d'oeuvres, I'm like, listen, the redneck...
That was poor folk
white
food.
trash in me is like, no, honey, that's dinner. That was dinner when the food stamps didn't hit yet. I'm just being real.
So welcome to Love Lessons.
I'll learn you something, or maybe not.
This is a bit of a mess. So it's Christmas time.
Yeah.
And a common gift that people get this year are those DNA kits from like Ancestry and MyHeritage and 23andMe.
You got that a couple of years ago.
I
as a
did,
present.
and I jumped into it like head first, and I had a great time with it.
Yeah,
So,
you were going deep.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I learned some stuff about
You're like,
myself.
babe, I'm 0.5%
Right.
North Pacific Outlander, or I don't think that's actually a thing.
No, isn't Pacific Outlander like a clothing brand?
I'm not sure. I just threw a bunch of words that sounded right together.
I do have some Neanderthal in me, I learned.
But you wanted me to do something with that. You were like, babe, look, guess what? And I'm like, I don't even know what it is on a map. What do you want me to do with that? Cool. Like, thanks for passing those genes to our kids. Like, it's like bits of useless information.
Well, I found something on Twitter recently from someone who did one of these tests. And this did not happen to me. I didn't find any like long lost relatives. I didn't discover like I was secretly adopted or like kidnapped by like the Russian mafia or something. Is the mafia? Is that what they call it? The mob? That's what they are in Russia. Anyway,
Get it together.
well, it's what happens when you get kidnapped by the Russian mafia. So I found this tweet, and I want to share it with our Love Lessons family here. It says, my husband has been toiling away on Ancestry for years, and this morning I finally I can't get through it. I finally got to enjoy the fruits of his labor, an in-depth presentation with charts showing how we are first cousins.
Oof. So he knew this and didn't immediately be like, oh my gosh, guess what I found? Like, he took the time to process this information, to come up with more data, and to create a presentation.
I think maybe, I don't know that it necessarily happened. Okay, here's what I'm imagining. I'm imagining me doing this.
Okay.
I'm 2/3 of the way through the PowerPoint presentation that you don't care about when I realize that we're first cousins. That's the way that I see something like that going for me. I don't think there was this big elaborate conspiracy that he didn't tell his wife. I think he got through it and had like an oh crap moment and realized.
She's my sister.
Right. Like Joe Dirt situation going on here. That's not Love Lessons appropriate. I apologize, audience.
So what do you do with that?
Right. So that's my question. If you found out that you and I were first cousins.
I'm going to lose this no matter what I say, aren't I? Like, you are setting me up for failure.
No.
Right here.
I really want to know what you think.
Okay.
Because I know what I think.
So if you were on Ancestry.com or 23andMe and you are checking it out and you determine that we are first cousins, you're asking me what it is that I'm going to do with that information.
Right. Do we stay together? Do we stay married? Or do we, like, shake hands and go our separate ways?
A good day, sir.
Right. I'll see you at Christmas when the family gets together. So, kind of the family reunion to hang out with my ex-wife.
I have questions, though. And I think this is where you're going to get me.
This is one of the rare times on Love Lessons this is not a setup. I genuinely want to know what you think.
If it's you and I, like if I found out today, then I would say we're together. Right. We already have children. We already have a home. Obviously, our children don't have any, like, inbred qualities. So, like, that's, you know.
Are there any inbred qualities?
Well, I mean, I think that there are, like, medical things that happen if people of the same line procreate that those children can have. Our children don't have those. So, I would say, like, and you're not so close. If you did not know this after this many years, your family's not so close that this is, like, information. It's not like your brother cousin is also your uncle cat or something. Like, it's not like we all knew this and we're hanging out doing holidays together as this dual relationship. Like, it was a type of thing. So you don't have, like, the family dysfunction system situation going on.
Right.
So I think we're too legit to quit at that point.
That was a very long explanation. Who are you trying to justify this to? Are you trying to justify this to people listening?
I'm trying to make it interesting, because if I said, no, we're together and left it at that, then that doesn't really sound like content.
Sure. I'm curious, because it felt like
I was processing externally. Right. I'm an external processor. You had no idea
this was coming before we sat down to record this.
I'm an external processor.
Right.
Just move on. What would you do? Now you've got me flustered. I cannot even answer a question correctly.
Yes. I'm just curious. Because I feel like there are people out there who might be hardcore judging you. But they're going to have to hardcore judge me too, because I'm in the same boat. Like, it's been 14 years.
Would they leave their spouse after 14 years and multiple children and houses and dogs and ministry and jobs and careers and...
I guess we're all cousins, at some point anyway. So.
I mean, you're my brother in Christ, so...
Right. Way to make it weird.
Now, if you were newly married, and then I guess you'd have to talk to God about that.
Yeah.
If you don't have children... If it was like some conspiracy that was covered up, like there are times I could see like, okay, like we might need to revisit this. But at some point, like the cows are already out of the barn.
Right.
Is that the right analogy?
I'm not sure.
It's the horses, isn't it?
I don't know where you're going.
The barn doors are open and all the animals are out in the barnyard. Why shut the barn now? Like, it's too late.
That's good.
Yeah.
Several years ago, it was probably back in the 90s, it was like on Ricky Lake or Sally Jesse Raphael or one of those.
Sally.
Back in the day, right? There were two different instances. I remember it was on one of these talk shows. It might have been Springer, who knows? Anyway, the point is, there were two different instances. This couple had gotten married and they'd been married for like 2 or 3 years, and they discovered they were brother and sister.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if they had any kids or not.
Like adoption type situation.
Yeah, that was kind of what I gathered. Yeah. Like they were somehow separated. Had no idea. They were in like their 30s, I think. First marriage for both of them, and they discovered they were brother and sister, and they decided to continue in their relationship. I feel like I remember them saying they were not going to have kids, just to make sure that they didn't pass any like harmful genes down or anything. And this was, again, it wasn't like 5 minutes into their marriage. They'd already established some history there. I don't know what I would do in that situation, because that feels real different than a cousin.
I feel like this is a great time to bring up that if you get one of these gifts for Christmas, you do a deep dive and you find out that you are related to your spouse, you can call us at Revive Counseling Center and we can assist you in processing this information.
We can't tell you what to do.
Absolutely not.
But we will help you process it.
This would be one of those situations. People come into therapy and they're like, I'm going to tell you something big. You're just not going to believe it.
Yeah. And you've already heard it 10 times.
And usually I've heard it before and I'm not shocked. This is one of those times that if they came in and said that, then I'd have to make sure my poker face was in play.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, like this is real.
And not in a judgmental kind of way.
No,
just like I can't believe that you're having to go through this.
It's like Santa Claus in the M&M commercial at Christmas time. They do exist. Yeah, it'd be like that.
I went Marshall Mathers M&M. I don't know why.
No, Zach.
I was like, Santa rapping with
the red and the green M&Ms from the 90s commercial.
I don't know why I went there. It's been a long day. So here's one that is even more shocking than the brother and sister. It was on the same episode. The episode was like, I fell in love with my long lost whatever or something. I don't know. This guy and this woman get together, and the woman is significantly older. And you know where this is going.
No.
And throughout the relationship, the young man reveals that he had been put up for adoption as a child. The woman reveals she had put up a son, and so they kind of bonded over this experience. And then, like 8 or 10 months into the relationship, discover that it's mother and son.
That's a hard stop right there.
Yeah, and they didn't hard stop.
They. No. That's a line you can't cross. So was that his mother wife?
I don't know that they could legally be married. Because they weren't together. So they weren't married. So they, like, I guess that's true. They weren't, she wasn't on the birth certificate, I guess. But so they weren't married yet. Like the brother and sister that found out, they were already married and had established like history in their marriage. These two were just dating and continued.
They should call a Revive Counseling Center if they need some help in that.
I don't know how to navigate that. I can't help you with that.
Well, it's a good thing I'm a better counselor than you.
I guess so. Yeah. Anyway, Love Lessons has taken a very weird turn today.
Yeah, well.
Welcome to the show. Mm-hmm. So this reminded me when I was throwing this together of another gift that people often get at Christmas time.
Okay.
The fancy little personal assistant robots.
You're going to say all the names and all of the robots in these people's houses.
I'm not going to say it.
Okay.
But there's one that's produced by Amazon.
Does her name start with an A?
It does.
Okay.
There's one that is produced by the largest search engine in the world.
Googly Oogly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Feels like you're trying to talk pig Latin in front of the kids so they don't understand what you're saying.
I'm trying to make sure that I'm guessing the right
And then
ones.
Is there any other one? Oh, I guess there's the one that's in your iPhone. Because she has HomePods. They're really expensive. I'm not at the level of wealth to have a house full of those.
Yeah.
So we've had the ones made by Amazon and the other one from the search engine.
Yeah.
You got to be careful about saying that because sometimes it'll just pop. It's not Bing.
Oh, okay.
They got rid of Cortana. Cortana's dead. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, she gone.
Ask Jeeves.
They killed her.
Ask Jeeves.
It's still around.
I don't know why, because people ain't asking him. They're asking Google. They're Googling questions. They're not asking Jeeves.
They're not jeeving.
No.
So this reminded me of another situation because I feel like, I don't think I got it for a Christmas gift, but the very first introduction to home robotics, I think I got a free one because I bought something online. And so now, like, fast forward, this was like 5 or 6 years ago, fast forward to today, and our entire house is ran by robots. It's wonderful.
There's a lot of robots.
We're like the Jetsons. So
yeah,
if you have a personal assistant that's made by what used to be the largest bookseller in the world, you should mute her now because I'm going to say her name a couple of times.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Amazon.com used to be the world's largest book retailer.
Oh, really?
That's how they got started.
I don't know.
They sold books. You were around when it started.
I didn't ask Jeeves that information. I don't know. Anyway, keep going.
Heavens to Betsy. Anyway, Alexa is her name.
Yeah.
So we have our house like Alexa'd out at this point. Like we have smart bulbs.
It's automated.
Everything is automated. Everything comes on at a certain time. Our security system arms itself at a certain time of night.
I tell people this because they're going to try to like hack into our house.
No, they won't. We're locked down like Fort Knox.
Okay.
You think I've done all this and haven't I have like routers connected to VPNs to block us.
And then if the
China
security
doesn't even know where we are. The Russian mafia has no idea how to find me.
The security system goes off and guns automatically pop out of the walls.
That's a bit obnoxious.
Oh.
I haven't installed those yet. But anyway, we have these things all over. It's connected to our lights. They turn on at a certain time, or we can tell her to turn them off. Alexa she turns on the Christmas trees this time of year for us. It's a beautiful thing. She knows to turn the outside lights on 30 minutes before sunset. She's real advanced, right? So we also have a robot vacuum, Roomba.
Yep.
And so Roomba, when he works the way he's supposed to, vacuums at a certain time every day. And so a few years ago, Amazon came out with a feature, if you had the security systems, the security package, where Alexa would listen for sounds in your house. If it heard something that was breaking and entering or whatever, and it would call the police for you. It was very nice. So like you can literally automate your security system now. You don't even have to like get an intruder alert. Alexa just handles it all for you. I really wish she would make dinner and wrap the presents, but we haven't got there yet. Bud. So Alexa, one day sends me an alert. And it like pops up this big like warning thing on my phone. I'm at work, I'm trying to get stuff done. It pops up this big warning thing that says something like intruder sound detected. And it has a countdown of like 30 seconds that it's going to call the police. And so I'm having to like quickly look on my phone to try to look at the camera that's in the house to see who is breaking into my house or if I need to like cancel the alarm or whatnot. And so I look and I finally get it shut off before, the cops get called to the house. And it turns out that Roomba had started and it was vacuuming. And Alexa thought Roomba was an intruder. And so I almost had one of my robot assistants call the cops on another robot assistant.
They had a workplace conflict is what it sounds like.
Could you imagine having been an officer that showed up to the house?
My Alexa called the police on my Roomba.
Yeah.
Just complaining about my vacuuming skills.
I would have loved to have seen a police report about that, though.
That might be one where they charge you because they came out, they were dispatched because it was so preposterous.
Yeah.
Thank goodness you caught that.
It was obnoxious. So we disabled that feature so that Roomba can vacuum in peace and the cops aren't getting called. But it's funny because this happened several years ago when I really cared. And at some point in the last, maybe COVID just messed everything up for me. But now I no longer have patience to even set up technology. And so I upgraded iPhones several weeks ago, and out of necessity, not out of want to, because the battery was dying on it. And I'm convinced there's a conspiracy with Apple that when a new iPhone is released.
They're going to censor us now.
Well, you can find us on YouTube. I'm convinced there's a conspiracy. When the new iPhone comes out, suddenly everybody's older iPhones start having trouble, right? Your batteries now started to struggle. And so I had to go get this thing because I started getting this battery warning, like my phone was going to explode or something. So I had to order a new phone, and there was this whole back and forth with our phone carrier about I could get it for free, but I had to jump through all these hoops, and it was a mess. And so I finally got it, and I got it out of the box. And mind you, I went from iPhone to iPhone. It's not like I had some kind of major transformation in devices, and I could not figure out how to make it not be so loud. To the point that I almost went to Best Buy. And I finally did talk to Apple Care online, and they were like, "Hi, how can I help you?" And I was like, "My phone's too loud."
Oh, you did it.
I did. And she was like, "Have you tried turning down the volume?" Yes, that was my first step. And so I was like, "Listen, lady, I've done research. I've Googled this. I've tried to figure out how to fix this. I don't know why it's so loud, but every time I turn it down and something happens, I get a ding. It's like a missile is shooting from North Korea. It is so loud. Please make it stop." And I was like, I think I'm becoming a boomer.
That's how the transition starts.
I was so angry over the technology.
And so not only did it not work, you were angry about it.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, the difference was I was not blaming the technology. I recognized that it was probably something that I was doing wrong. I didn't yell at the customer service associate.
Okay.
And I didn't show up 10 minutes before the store opened, banging on the doors demanding to be let inside because I'm so entitled because I'm 70 plus years old.
It's okay. That comes later.
Oh,
it's okay. It's a transition period.
It's a weird life I live.
So just FYI, in case anybody gets you any automated home technology.
It's going to make me angry.
I'm not buying you anything for Christmas. You are getting a lump of coal. That's what and you have to do more podcast work. That's your
Great. Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
You want to talk about a fun fact?
Do you have anything fun?
Oh, it's fun. I intentionally didn't put this on our shared little rundown here. I have a gift.
No.
It's a gift for our Love Lessons listeners.
Okay.
So 2 weeks ago, we aired an episode where we kind of talked about our history, right? And how we met and all of those things, right? And we shared that you and I had a class together.
No, you are not. This is not a present. This is a punishment.
It's a great present for me. For those of you who didn't listen to our episode a couple weeks ago, you should go listen. Specifically about when Blair and I met in the 8th grade. Do you want to remind folks where we met?
We met in Miss York's 8th grade journalism class.
We did.
Where Zach was the editor of the middle school newspaper, his shining glory of his life.
That's not true. I was also editor of the high school paper.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
I moved up.
Yeah. And I got placed into that class and was told to write articles with no history, experience, education, and I was 13 years old.
Correct.
And the only thing I was ever told was to use more voice. And so all I did was use voice.
What does that even mean?
Like,
how does
expressive and like conversational in your writing.
So Blair's article made the front page in the newspaper.
I'm ashamed right now.
I'm going to kick
you. I'm going to kick you in the throat later. If I can get my leg that high, it is on.
This is what's so great. Somehow, after 20 plus years, this is still preserved on the internet, and I can go find it.
Just get on with it.
Okay.
Rip the Band-Aid off. I'm in pain.
Our principal retired at the end of our 8th grade year.
Miss Price.
Darlene Price. Lovely lady. And
Lord rest her soul.
She's still alive.
I have no idea.
I mean, I assume she was in her early 50s when she retired.
I just made that up. You go. I don't want her dead, but just...
Wow. Miss Price, if you're listening, I'm so sorry. I'm also sorry you're about to have to relive this. So Blair wrote an article about Miss Price retiring, and it was front page news.
It was. That was your fault.
And it was, I didn't have much to work with. We're all in 8th grade. So I'm going to be able to read the entire article because of its brevity here. It's hard-hitting middle school journalism.
Okay.
The headline of the article is Miss Price retires. It was... You did set the headline up correctly, to be fair, because you're supposed to use you're supposed to use a verb in a headline. So it's always supposed to be active. So as you already know, our principal, Miss Price, plans on retiring after the school year. The newspaper had a few questions to ask her.
This is where it gets sketch.
We asked her how long she has been in the teaching profession, and her answer, 27 years. It's hard-hitting stuff right here. We asked if she had only taught in our county, but she said she taught in various other states. She had several job titles over the years, and what did she like best? Principal. This was the article of exclamation points. We also asked what she plans to do after retirement. She plans to continue working and spend a lot of time with her family. We asked her if she had anything to say to the new principal that's coming in effective July 1st. She said, "Congratulations, you'll do a great job. I'm sure the faculty, staff, and students will miss Mrs. Price also." 4 exclamation points. That was glorious.
There was nothing fun about that.
Okay, to be fair to you, though, I did go looking for some of my own stuff. Okay. So I went to the attic. I ran to the house before we came to record this to see if I could find the actual hard copies, and I can't, but I do have a picture, so I'll share this on Facebook and YouTube. If you listen to the podcast, go on over to Facebook or YouTube and watch the video of this. You can also see how red Blair's face is. Okay. So way back in the day, sometime probably 2004 or 2005-ish, I guess, the school newspaper, when I was an editor, ran an article, and it was actually a serious topic. There had been several school shootings across the country that kind of happened within a few weeks apart. And so we, in local news, you try to localize these things, right? You were looking at me like you were going to murder me.
I have so many emotions about you right now, but go ahead.
So at any rate, we decided to localize this article and make it relevant to our local audience, which was a group of high schoolers that frankly didn't care. And so what your article lacked, mine made up for in dramatics and theatrics.
No one is surprised by this.
So my headline was, nationwide school shootings raise questions about school security. Nobody in our high school was reading that.
Or raising questions.
No, there were no questions raised beside my own. And it was so dramatic and theatrical. I actually remember I got kicked out of our principal's office because I went in there demanding answers. It was kind of like, was it A Few Good Men that Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson were in? Was that the right movie? I think the right one. He walks into the courtroom and he was like, I want the truth. And he's like, you can't handle the truth. Yeah, that was, I walked in demanding to know.
14-year-old Zach walked in.
I walked into Greg Dunn's office and I'm like, I want to know what we're doing about school security. He was like, who are you?
You freshman? Right. What are you doing?
I think I was a sophomore.
You need a swirly at this point.
The principal himself is going to give me one just because he doesn't want to deal with me. And it's funny, this wasn't even my article. I just assisted one of the staff writers with doing it.
That's even worse.
I know. And so we ended up there. After that, we ended up actually getting censored because some of our stuff, we just got really annoying to the administration. And so they told us if we didn't calm down that they were going to start proofing every single paper before it went out to make sure that we weren't being idiots.
That sounds like a smart adult decision that they were making.
Yeah. Now, at the time, I was like, freedom of the press. We were minors.
Were you going to throw the tea into the bag and riot and, create your own Declaration of Independence from the school or...
Right. What's funny, though, actually, now that we're talking about this, I do remember a few years later, beyond high school, when I actually worked at a real TV station doing, real work that I got paid for to do news. And I actually did go back to our high school and talk to, he was the assistant principal when I was there, but then he was the principal when I interviewed him, about things that they were doing for security upgrades. So maybe it all worked out in the end.
It came full circle. Little Zach walks so big Zach could run.
That's it.
Is the hit.
That's it. And little Blair wrote about Miss Price retiring.
We're going to have to talk about this offline. Off pod, if you will.
So there we have it.
Wasn't fun, but okay.
So I have a question.
Can you just put me out of my misery at this point?
Do you want to share the other thing that you published in our 8th grade paper?
What is that, puppy love? You're not. I was just sitting here thinking, thank God that he didn't pull out puppy love, because that was worse. You owe me so big right now.
Do you want to share with our friends?
You can share. I can't get through it.
Do you want to read it? You can read it if you want to. You sure? Okay.
No.
Okay.
But I need you all to understand that I had just went through my very first serious relationship, or was in the middle of it. I was having a lot of big emotions. There were a lot of hormones, and I was not getting validated in these emotions at home. And people were acting like I was being dramatic, because I was. But I was just not getting the validation that I needed.
All we have to say is you were 13 years old.
Yes.
And everybody gets it.
On with it.
Okay. Actually, you were 12. You weren't even 13 yet.
I mean, dang.
What I will say about this is that you wrote this in the way that you talk.
Yes.
And you still talk this way.
Yes.
This is Blair.
Yes.
There we go. Okay. So have you ever been in love? If you have, then you know how it feels. This is how it felt. Heart pounding, sweating, and stomach aches. Or not. Some people are afraid to get hurt, so they don't take the risk and put their heart on the line. Is it worth putting your heart on the line? I mean, those who do put their heart out there usually get hurt. And those who never put their heart out there don't know how it feels. Did you send this to Fall Out Boy? Because I feel like this was in some of their lyrics. Is it worth doing? Some teens claim that they're in love, but they're really not. Parents often tell us that we don't know what love is or that it won't last, but how do they actually know? They call it puppy love, but don't we have the exact same feelings as they do? No, you don't, children. I bet you could ask your parents if they had any relationships throughout their teenage years and what they felt, and they would just smile and go off into their own little world. No, they wouldn't. That's weird. So if you worry about love, then don't. It's part of your teenage years. Like they say, it's better to have loved than never loved at all. Which is not the right... No. Loved and lost. That's what you were looking for there, 12-year-old Blair. I feel like this was a precursor to you becoming a marriage counselor.
All I have to say is that you were the editor and you let both of those articles fly.
So editor is a strong word.
I think this is your responsibility.
I think that Miss York placed all of these. Me giving the job of editor was probably just because I was such a brown-noser.
And you wonder why our children are dramatic. Like...
Between the two of us,
it's published, yeah. Dang. This really was a Christmas present, wasn't it?
For them.
And I'm taking back every gift that you've been given or that you've been bought for. You get nothing. No soup for you.
Thank you for letting me walk down memory lane.
You're welcome. I'm never going to recover from this. There's nothing sexier than watching you do something that you're good at.
Which is everything. Especially my humility.
It's like a cold bucket of water right there, right over me. No, but a client was talking about this, and she was talking, her and her husband work in close proximity to each other, and so she was talking about how, you know, when he, she hears him talking shop, that she just is, like, admires that, and it's so attractive to her, because it's something that she cannot do, and it's something that she admires about him. So when you do those things, I can understand that. I see it. Yeah.
Just appreciating like the gifts and the talents that God's given the other person.
And that's your person.
Yeah.
So what do you like that I do?
So this is just fishing for compliments.
No, but if we're going there, then you might as well return the favor.
You have this way of looking at business and like business law and stuff that has like a lot of complexities and a lot of different facets to it and like making complete sense. I read it and I might as well be like reading like Aramaic and like, you know, original Bible language because I don't understand any of it. And you're like, well, you have to do this and you've got to put this here and you've got to go this way, you know, to keep you from being sued or to, you know, because this is an ethical business practice. And to me, it's just like totally over my head. Mm-hmm. But when you talk about it, I'm like, oh, wow, that's like,
I was an attorney in another life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's actually what I wanted to do when I was a kid.
And now you're a counselor / podcast host.
I know. I remember I was in fifth grade. I think you're right. I was in the 5th grade and they had us get a picture from home. They had us create ourselves out of construction paper, and our shirt had to do like, we had to open it up like that.
That sounds weird.
It's not working. Okay, I'm not doing well. We had to make our like a little person of construction paper, but we had to do like a flip open to where you like opened up your heart and you got to see, and it was like on your shirt area. And so when you opened up my little shirt area, there was a little picture of me that I had taped there, and then it was like, "Hi, I'm Blair. I'm in the 5th grade, and I want to be an attorney when I grow up, and I want to go to Austin Peay State University." And like this whole life planned out,
mapped out for you.
I sure did. Didn't do a bit of it, but I was decided that's what I was going to do.
So what's it like living with somebody so perfect?
I wouldn't know.
Why? I'm amazing.
I didn't say you weren't amazing, but I don't necessarily agree that you're perfect.
There's a song that tells me I'm perfect in all of my ways.
No, it's talking about God. It's not talking about you. Yeah.
Do you know what song it is? Can you remember?
You're a good father.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Okay, so I guess if I'm not perfect, then I have to admit that you're also not perfect.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that one. No, I'm not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes here, Zach.
Do you think that other people have things that their spouse does that drives them crazy?
In ways that they're not perfect? 100%. There are ways that I drive myself crazy, and so of course there's ways that another person's going to drive me crazy. So I know other people would feel this way.
Share some of the things that you do that drive me crazy.
Oh, you have a list?
Oh, I have a list.
Are you airing our dirty laundry here, if you will?
Number one. I don't know if you were raised by savages. Actually, I do know. If maybe they raised you in a barn. But why do you not know how to use a tube of toothpaste the right way?
I don't think this is like a savage thing. I think this is a preference thing. And you just don't like my preference.
You grab it by the middle and just squeeze. You squeeze it from the bottom of the tube. It is a mess. I can't tell you how many times I have to clean up toothpaste mess. Yes, I know you have to clean up my messes, but this is not about me. This is about you.
I'll squeeze from the bottom whenever it starts getting low, but I'll squeeze from the middle until we...
Why? Why must you ruin perfectly good toothpaste? You waste a lot of it. It gets everywhere. It is messy. It is a pain in the butt trying to get it back down in the little fancy cutesy little cup that it sits in with the toothbrushes.
Okay, that's valid. Yeah.
Can we talk about the betrayal you felt? What was like a year or so ago when you realized that I have a hidden tube of toothpaste? When you start being all savagey in your toothpaste using?
I felt like our marriage was over when you told me that. I really you what?
For over a decade, I've had a hidden tube of toothpaste.
It's like the lies. They just keep stacking up here.
Our marriage is built on a lie as long as a toothpaste tube.
You're supposed to share a lot of things in marriage.
I tried when we first got married, and you used it like a savage.
I don't even know how you have a hidden one. Because I'm the one that does all the shopping.
I know. It's a miracle.
You go to the store by yourself.
I have.
And buy your own toothpaste.
For the sole purpose of buying my own toothpaste that you're not going to mess up. Yes, I absolutely
And then you've hidden it somewhere in a bathroom that I clean that I don't know.
You can't reach everything, Shorty.
This is true. But now I know.
Is it still there?
I'm too tired to find out.
That's what I thought.
Well, while we're at it, I would love to throw down some things that you do that drive me crazy.
Okay.
You wear nasal strips to sleep. Do you not?
I do.
And they're the clear, extra strength, extra type.
There's a lot of nostrils that we pull apart here in a very narrow nose.
And I will wake up and find these things sticking. You don't just wake up and, oh, what a wonderful night's sleep, and take off your nose strip and throw it away like a normal person. It's like you had the most chaotic night ever. There's no tail. It's like pinning the tail on the donkey.
The nose strip.
Except it's the nose strip, and it's usually on me. I woke up one day and found it on my butt. It was stuck to my butt. I don't know. I was wearing pants, and it was inside of my pants. Of course, on the sheets and on the pillowcase, and then the adhesive gets on there, and I found them on the bottom of my shoe or my slipper when I'm walking through the house, on the rug, and then of course you like to the one day the dog, and then you also like to stick them to the table, like the bedside table,
so
and
it sticks there so I don't lose it. I'll come back.
You're not going to reuse them.
No, I can come back and get it later.
You're never going to. I always do that.
That's fair.
Your nose strips are everywhere. It's like the epitome of my hair being everywhere.
Yeah, except you've never woken up with a nose strip in your butt crack, and I have had hair in my butt crack.
You're right.
Is that appropriate to talk about on the podcast?
That you have a butt crack?
That your hair gets stuck in it?
I'm sure that this is a thing that other people experience.
I know it is.
Yeah.
It's just we're trying to be couth. Are we trying to be couth?
No,
okay.
We threw that out the window a long time ago.
So everybody has a butt crack.
So if you will back up off of my toothpaste using and remember that...
I have a deviated septum.
Oh, so you have a medical condition.
Yes.
Which causes... Okay.
I need the nose strip to be able to breathe.
Sure, use the nose strip, but discard it in an appropriate way.
I feel like maybe you're overreacting.
It's like you had a fight with the plastic factory, the plastic sticky factory, and they won because they're everywhere. I have to go and hunt them down every day so they don't take over my home.
Interesting. It's like they're little gnomes that grow.
Oh, now I'm going to look at them and think they're gnomes. I wonder if they have any red and green ones for Christmas, because that would be festive.
Let's talk about this. Woman.
What?
This is one of those things that don't matter. Like, I could see how, like, nose strips could send somebody over the edge in toothpaste. This one doesn't matter, but it drives me crazy.
Okay.
You have access to unlimited technology. I'm a huge nerd. If you want something, I'll make it happen. I could build you a server in the basement if we had a basement. I don't know what we would store on the server, but that's not the point. Maybe episodes of Love Lessons. Anyway, you like to read books. And you like to read Kindle books or electronic books.
Yeah.
But you do it on your phone.
Yeah.
And so I'm watching you. You will be like sitting on the couch and you'll be like squinting with your phone super close to your face trying to read what it says. And I'm like, woman, you own an iPad. We have at least 3 in this house. One of which I know at least belongs solely to you.
I'm not sure what the problem is here. I don't want all of those things.
But you've got the phone like you're already going blind and you refuse to wear glasses, Granny. Why do you hold the phone so close to your face? Why are you making
I didn't
life...
know this is what we were doing today.
Why do you have to make life more difficult than it is? It's already hard enough. Everything's on fire. My hair's on fire. The hair on my butt crack's on fire. Everything is on fire. And you refuse to use an iPad.
Here's what I want to know. Why do you feel like you have to fix me?
Because I'm codependent. Okay. Codependency is also on fire.
I'm going to keep using my phone. I don't need... to make sure everything's charged. Like, I just need the responsibility of one device.
But you're
hurting. I had my watch.
You're hurting. I know you don't even use your Apple Watch, but you like have it like 4 inches from your face, and you're like squinting at it all funny, and you're like,
I don't feel like I'm doing that.
Okay, well, feelings aren't facts. I watch you. At least wear your glasses.
And
Can we agree that you will wear your glasses?
They're not reading glasses. The fact
they are prescription glasses that can help you read. What is wrong with you?
Okay, never had a comprehension problem.
You're about to comprehend something.
What if we get you some? The way I am.
Why can't we get you some reading glasses then, so that you can wear?
Because I don't need them for reading.
But you do, because you're squinting with your phone 4 inches from your face.
I don't think I'm squinting, and it's not 4 inches from my face. You can increase the font size on your phone. I will do that. I will increase the font size on my phone when I'm reading books, if that would make you feel better. I'm trying to protect your eyesight. You're trying to fix me, and I don't need to be fixed.
Yes, you do.
We're doing just fine over here.
So many things wrong with you.
I'm doing just fine over here.
There are so many issues that I have with you.
Okay, well, I feel like we need to move on a little bit.
Do we?
Mm-hmm. Because when you get in the car to go somewhere, when we get in the car collectively, because I don't know how you do it while you're by yourself.
I do just fine.
Lord help you. You couldn't get us there if you tried.
What do you mean? You get in and drive?
And you don't plan how you're going to get there. You don't map it out. You just start driving and you're like, what direction do I need to be going in? We could be going east and you're needing to go west, and you're like, how do I get west?
I'll find out eventually.
Like, the lack of preparation and planning makes me want to throat punch you.
Do you know that I don't have any of these problems when you're not in the vehicle?
And it takes you 3 times as long to get anywhere.
That's not true. Always.
I think you're like Rose from the Golden Girls.
Okay.
When it comes to your driving. Like, what's going on?
I am directionally
You have
challenged.
already talked about how you dropped a trailer in the middle of the street.
Well, we're going to bring that up again.
So, your driving's already been called into question.
Okay, wait. Driving and dropping a trailer are 2 very different things.
I don't think so. I think it's all in the same vein.
Okay, well, I think somebody not knowing how to use a toothpaste and not knowing how to use multiple devices and being incapable of juggling multiple ones is the same thing, but here we are.
I just think it would be better if you need me around to give you directions. And then when I do give you
me directions whether I want them or not.
And then I do give you directions, and then you get frustrated with me that I've given you directions, but if I didn't, then we wouldn't get there. Like, I couldn't win if I tried.
So, has it ever thought to your, thought ever occurred to you?
No, it hasn't.
Maybe my husband's right and I should just be quiet.
That thought has never occurred to me.
I know.
If you were right, then it might, but you're not. So
Really? You just yesterday, I think you said I was right about something.
If you could tell me what it is, then I might agree with that.
I don't remember now.
See?
question. For somebody.
Why do you always start these things without a question?
Because I have questions.
No, it's this backhanded way of asking a rhetorical question.
No, there's nothing rhetorical about it. You know how...
That's another thing you do. No, I have a question. Do you know how when a beaver comes up to a body of water and they see it flowing? No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm getting there. Let me get there.
I've never seen a beaver before in my life.
Really? You live in the country. You've lived in the country. You live in a rural area.
Are beavers in Kentucky?
Yes, beavers are in Kentucky. What is wrong with you? Anyway, it's not the point. You know how when a beaver comes up to a body of water?
Why are you asking
This sounds like a bad joke. Three beavers walk into a bar.
Okay, go ahead.
You know how when a beaver comes up to a body of flowing water?
Sure.
And they see it and they think somebody's got to put a stop to this. Absolutely not. And so they build a dam. As an aside, do you think they know what they're doing when they're building the dam, or do animal instincts just kick in?
What you're saying or where you're going.
So here's where I'm going with this.
Clever joke. Go ahead. Move on.
Okay, well, it was clever until you were a jerk face. When beavers see a body of water flowing, they think absolutely not. Why do you have that same response when a notification pops up on your phone?
Okay,
if you're like in the middle of like scrolling through Facebook and somebody texts you, you will take that sucker, you just go, like start swiping it as fast as you can, like your life depends on it.
Aggressively?
Yes. Like what is it that, what is so offensive about?
It's interrupted me.
You could be reading something at the bottom of the page, but if somebody texts you, you gotta like, it's like, how dare someone disturb the queen during her tea time?
Okay, so I know you don't understand this because of your struggles with ADHD.
Yeah.
But
I have notifications from last month still on my
I know, and that's who you are as a person. But I, as a person,
thank you,
like to clear those things out. But also, if it pops up and I'm in the middle of something and I don't get rid of it, then it's going to distract me and I'm going to not finish what I'm doing.
And yet I'm the one with ADHD.
Right, so I'm getting rid of the distraction so I can continue on my path.
Those of us who are normal can just operate and say, oh, so-and-so texted me. You
don't
do
that because you stop immediately and go and text them back and then forget what you're doing.
Not true.
It's true. That's what I'm saying is I am able to stay on my path.
Okay, wait. Wait. Do you do that to me when I text you?
No.
Because unless I'm in the middle of like CPR, I will almost always stop. Okay, if I'm in the middle of an important meeting and I don't want to be disrespectful to the other person, that's fair. But there are very few times that I won't stop what I'm doing and respond to your message.
Yeah, if you text me something, I always will respond.
Yeah,
most of the time, it's if somebody texts me and I don't have to respond. They're just telling me something. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, got it, and move on. Yeah. But I am bad about that. I'll read somebody's text message and forget to respond to them, probably because I've gotten rid of the notification.
The truth comes out.
Yeah. So if I owe you a text message, you need to text me and tell me I owe you a text message because I've forgotten.
Now, I will say, when it comes to work, a lot of times I'm really bad at responding to messages because now we have so many different ways that we communicate. So, like, we have our group chat for the church, for church leadership. We have Google Chat that we use for Revive, for our stuff there. We have text message, we have email. And so I'm really bad about, like, forgetting to respond to a message because there are so many options of how to message.
See how many issues we've created with automation.
See how many issues you've created by swiping
one device to communicate and or read on. These things would be so much easier.
And if you would use it, you know what? Adjust your text, you angry little notification beaver. And
I'm not a beaver.
Well,
the only beaver in Kentucky. Blair the beaver.
Something's wrong with you.
I just want to know how you got there. That was a leap that you took. Hope you stretched.
A beaver sees a body of flowing water and they think absolutely not, just like you think when you see a notification.
Okay, but what I want to know is if I'm a beaver, then you're a squirrel.
Oh, absolutely I am. I have no qualms about that.
Because you like stuff.
I do.
And you like to put piles of stuff in different places. They eat through it.
Oh, I'm a pack rat.
Oh, okay.
I teed that up for you 2 different times, and you totally just... You're supposed to be a professional.
I'm going to be professional about what I do next. I'm going to tell everybody to close their eyes and their ears.
Close your eyes.
That's as nice
Close
as
your
it could
ears.
be.
Everyone look away.
For 10 seconds. And then if Zach's not here anymore, don't ask any questions.
Don't ask any questions if there's blood.
You like to leave little piles.
I do.
We'll call them Zach glitters.
Okay.
Of everywhere you go. And I'm constantly going behind you trying to clean your piles or at least organize them so that they are like not chaotic.
I have no disagreements here. This is 100% truth.
And that drives me insane.
Yeah.
So our bar, an island in the kitchen.
Our bar. We're going to need one after this is over. What is this? Lafayette, Tennessee in 1997? It's an island. Blair, have some class.
It's elevated. It has a bar on the top. It's an island with a bar on the top of it.
You brought a baby into a bar.
Is that a martini?
We quote, this is an aside, we quote Sweet Home Alabama to each other on an obnoxious basis.
Yeah. Yes, we do, Bobby Ray.
There are rumblings. There have been for a few years now, so who knows if it's true or not. But there are rumblings that they're talking about doing a sequel to that movie.
Mm-hmm. That'd be great.
But they said that Jake Perry's character wouldn't be in it. She would have already left him. And I'm like, well, if that's the point, then she might as well go back. Get back with Patrick. Right. We have to, in our minds, be convinced they are still living
forever.
In, where was it? In Greenville, Alabama? Not Greenbow, Alabama, because that's Forrest Gump.
Mm-hmm.
But in our minds, life is great down there.
Yeah, she can't leave him.
Yeah. She wants to kiss him anytime she wants.
Exactly.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Zach piles everywhere. Everywhere. On my bar, specifically in my kitchen. And I'm going behind and I'm straightening
there are multiple piles on the island. It's not a bar. On the island.
I want to burn it. I want to put it all in a pile in the front yard and I want to set it on fire and I want to do a dance around it. But if I did that, A, the neighbors would think I was crazy and they would commit me. And B, you would just put a new pile or 2 or 6 up there the next day. And so it would be fruitless.
I'd probably make a pile in that burn pit that she had made.
Right.
I don't think our neighbors like us.
Well, I mean, we don't go out and say hi to them. So we're not the friendliest.
Super friendly neighbors. Not
we're
on
not
purpose.
Unfriendly. We're just not involved in the neighborhood.
Yeah, I have too much going on to care. Like,
we'll
I'll say hi to a couple of folks.
Yeah.
There are a couple of folks that'll walk by because we have mother and son that live on our street and we're kind of between.
Facebook friends with some of them.
Yeah, but I mean,
unfriendly.
I did hear recently in the last couple of months that someone who knows someone that we know was commenting about how those people are never outside and they just must be the most unfriendly people in Owensboro. And I'm like, actually, I don't.
We're just coming and going all the time.
I don't have any room for new relationships at this point.
Yeah, I cannot. I don't have the capacity.
I'm too busy making piles, and Blair's too busy being an angry beaver, swiping notifications away. Here's another one.
The shade that was thrown. That
just came up just in the last 30 minutes. Actually, I have 2 more. The list just continues to grow. We can go on and on. Mm-hmm. Number 1. Why do you so violently when we go somewhere to eat that there's a straw in a wrapper? Why do you so violently have to get it out of the wrapper? Like you beat it on the table to the point that the straw breaks. I had to drink out of a cup for lunch with a broken straw while nursing a broken heart from your violent savagery.
That's the only way to get it out of the wrapper.
No, it's not. There's a whole little paper down the side of the straw wrapper. You just rip it and the whole thing comes off.
That's how it works. It's never worked that way for me, at least.
You've never tried.
Yes.
Just like you've never tried to use a Kindle like a normal person.
Okay. So I will say when I do open a straw and I don't bang it, I do just open it from the top and that doesn't work. And then I'm trying to. So maybe I do need to try the side.
Which flows into my second complaint. Okay. Do you know where I'm going?
I don't.
When you don't know how to work something, you just start pushing buttons.
I do.
And it infuriates me.
That's true.
To no end.
Yeah.
You will get into one of our vehicles.
Yeah.
And you're like, I need the air conditioner. And sometime between the, I need the air conditioner and to the point, which is, a very short span of time that you decide you're going to turn on the air conditioner, you get like enraged hot and you just start pushing stuff. And before I know it, like you're blasting Ricky Martin and like you've got the heat cranked up and the defroster's on.
I'm living La Vida Loca.
Yeah, it's driving me
With
loca.
my head out the window
Yes.
to get some air.
So this past summer, we went to the mountains, and we were getting ready to leave. We'd eaten lunch. We were getting ready to leave, and you had the baby was getting fussy, needed his diaper change or something, and so you and the girls went out to the truck. I stayed behind and waited for the server to come out so I could pay and stuff. And I come out there, baby screaming. One of the girls are crying. You are like, your face is red. And I get in and I'm like, what is going on in here? You've got the heat on full blast and everyone's unhappy.
It was June.
I had even like remote started the truck for you so that it would be cooling off, but it wasn't cool enough because you weren't patient when you walked from the restaurant to the truck. And I was like, what is happening out here? And you had like pushed all kinds of buttons. You were convinced that if you started the truck that you could get the air to work better. It just needed to cool off for a second.
Yeah.
You turned the truck off and on like through because it was push button like 3 or 4 times, and like the heat was blasting, and I was like, what is that? And you were like, I'm so hot, and I'm like, just leave it alone.
A like floor length like maxi dress on.
Yeah.
Except by this point I had like gathered it up and it was like a mini skirt.
You were like girding your loins at this point.
Here, I accept that. That is fact. That I have no patience and I don't know how to work any sort of technology.
And you've done that multiple times, whether it's vehicles or computers or...
it's like, do you want to accept these cookies? I'll eat all of them, yes. Like, no problem. And before you know it, you're really full.
Bless your heart. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else you'd like to complain about?
No.
I got many complaints about you.
No, I think...
I feel better.
I think I don't. I think I want extensions.
Yeah, you say that about once a year.
There's these things called halo extensions.
Okay. Tell me about the halo extensions.
They were like $70 on Amazon.
Sure.
You can. They're
How
real.
does that calculate with girl math? Oh, you'll come up with an equation.
Well, when you consider the fact that real extensions cost like good ones like $300 to $400 minimum, plus the expense of having your hairdresser sew them in for you, and then the maintenance that it takes to deal with them and have them unsewn and resewn back in.
These are basically free.
They are like a tenth of the cost.
Okay, so great value brand.
So we're saving 90%. No, they're not great. They're the Halo ones they're on Amazon. They're real hair.
They're Family Dollar.
No, they're not.
Save a lot instead of Kroger.
No, they're not.
Tell me about your hair extensions.
I just did.
What are they? What's the difference? What makes them special? How do you put them in? Do you take them out?
So you can put them in yourself. It's called a halo, and there's a wire. So
Okay.
it's like...
How many times in this conversation are you going to say halo?
Can we stop now?
Keep going. I'm sorry.
So it's a halo.
This never ends.
So it's hair that's on a wire in a circle. So the back is where the hair is at, and the front is the wire. And so you part your hair, you pull it like halfway up or so around the crown, and you put it so that the wire comes right here, and then your hair goes around it. So you never see the wire. It's like tucked into your hair.
Not.
But then it gives you, so you have to color match, but you can get them dyed if you need to.
Obviously.
Or whatever. And then you can go to your hairdresser and have them cut them into your hair so that they blend really well, but you can take them in and out. And you can take them out and you can wash them and you can actually curl them or straighten them or do whatever.
Because it's real hair.
Because it's real hair. And then or you can do it on your head, whichever you want, but you could do either. But you just pop them in and it gives you fuller and it gives you...
Why do you want extensions?
Because I'm a girl, and so when I have long hair, I want short hair, and when I have short hair, I want long hair, and so this is the compromise, the best of both worlds.
So would you get your hair cut really short so you could go back and forth?
No, I'd probably stay where I'm at. I might get it a little shorter, but I would stay where I'm at. But I want like long ones, like middle or like lower back, like long, luscious ones.
This is the least interesting conversation I've probably had in weeks.
Well, then why did you have it? Were you supporting me? Is that what it was? You should ask a lot of questions for somebody who was not engaged.
I was trying to make you feel supported, but I don't care.
Okay, well, let's move on.
So I have a question.
Okay. Here we go.
Why don't you love me?
I do love you.
Okay, well, it doesn't feel that way.
Why?
Let me share with our friends what you've done. This has been a long-standing disagreement.
It's been
a year or 2 years?
It's been over a year.
Okay. And you still don't love me. It's amazing. So,
Heavens.
We were watching this show. You were watching the show. I was catching bits and pieces of it. It's one of those that I didn't want to admit that I was getting into, but then I would never sit down with you and watch it, but I'd like stand in the living room in my underwear with one sock on.
Yes.
No strip hanging halfway off. And there's a visual for you. You're welcome. And so I won't give a whole lot of details because I don't want to give the show away. So at any rate, it was a comedic take on a soap opera where they were making fun of how obnoxious soap operas are in this TV show, right? Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
Okay. So the main character had a love interest who died. And sometime later, seasons or years later, he comes back into her life, but he shows up on her doorstep. But she had already moved on. She already was married, had children, and moved on. But this guy who died was like the love of her life, like the moon and the stars, you are everything to me. I'm not complete without you. There's probably some codependency in there. That's not the point. They needed counseling. Anyway, so he's gone. She's devastated, but eventually she moves on. And if I died, I would want you to move on. Find somebody who makes you happy. But he doesn't die. He comes back. It was amnesia or something stupid because it's television. Okay? And I was offended on his behalf because this person who was the love of her life, she didn't just immediately run back to. And I shared this offense with you. And you took her side.
Not quite. Okay, so this actually started longer ago because I read a book with a similar plot.
Oh, yes, it did. Thank you for bringing back bad memories.
I'd shared that with you. And we had our first disagreement about the matter. And then the second time it happened, it was like, oh, no, here we go again. So all I'm saying is that in both of these situations, the female who their first spouse had passed, had died, went through an entire grieving process, went through years of grieving, and then was getting back on their feet and then got into a new relationship.
Good for them. Happy for them. I want you to be happy.
And then the first husband shows back up again.
Right.
I'd never said...
No.
No. I never ever said she should not be with the first husband. All I said is, wouldn't that be hard? Wouldn't that be a challenge to have to pick? And you immediately were like, if I'm not the first one, then you've never loved me. I'm like, no. I would still probably pick the first one. But you have to recognize that that's such a challenging situation.
There would be no question to me. If you died and came back from the dead, I don't care who she is. She gone. Okay? She can go find new housing somewhere. She can go live out in the backyard as far as I'm concerned and become a swamp witch.
So, if you married her?
If I died, would you ever find anyone that you love as deeply and as passionately and all of those things as me?
I sit here and I say no.
And that's where you should stop.
And I never would want to. And I don't ever think that I would. But I also know that I might love them too. And again, this does not mean that I'm going to choose them over you if you were to come back from
there should not be any... you shouldn't have to decide. What
if I was your second wife? How much you love me right now and your first wife came back?
I wouldn't love you that much right now.
Because you only love your first wife?
No, because you are my person. And if something ever happened to you, then if I were to ever get remarried, and I probably would. I mean, we're in our 30s now.
You would absolutely would.
Because I'm such a catch?
Yes.
Or because I'm so codependent, I need somebody else?
Because you have a large capacity to love, and you need to share that with others.
I would probably get remarried, as I would want you to get remarried. I don't want you to spend your life lonely and like all that. However, don't go with somebody in our friend group. Like, if he's sitting there at my funeral and he's like rubbing your back saying he would want you to be happy, no, he wouldn't. Just shut your mouth. Anyway, that's an aside. But I know that I could never love someone in the same way that I love you. And they would know that. Not in a, like, you're never going to be good enough, I'm always going to be comparing. But to some degree, like, it honestly, I'd probably marry for money the second time around because I've already had love. Like, why not be rich and enjoy it?
Mm-hmm. I think you should marry someone who's also a widower.
Yes,
so they understand.
There's value in that. Yeah. So don't get me wrong. This sounds. I never want to sound insensitive to folks who have gone through the loss of a spouse and who have remarried. There are people who have wonderful marriages after their first spouse has passed, and I say all this in jest, but I would never want anyone to think that we're discrediting the experience that someone has that's truly gone through that heartbreak. But if you always tell me that I'm the love of your life and you don't know how you would make it without me.
I don't.
And I'm glad that you, in this, fictitious world that I've made up in my head, that you have a second husband who's taking care of you and who cares for you.
You made all that up.
But you better kick his sorry butt to the curb because he ain't going to be as good as me. This should not be a question. You should not have to think.
I'm not.
Yeah, you're not thinking. That's the problem.
No. I never said I wouldn't. I never said I had to think about it. All I said that you took offense to was that, wouldn't that be a challenging situation?
And it would not be challenging, at least for me, because I actually love you.
God. I feel like I'm not alone here. I feel like this would be challenging for other people too.
All I know is, if you love me as much as you say you love me, why are you having to question who you're going to be with? Love of your life or sloppy seconds? Okay? Kick Joe to the curb. Sloppy Joe. Get him out of the house.
Joe, I love you.
Then why are you having to sit and think, wow, that would be a real challenge? Get rid of his butt.
I'm not even putting myself in those shoes. I'm thinking, wow, a person has to make that decision. What a challenge. There's a lot of emotions. They've already grieved. They've already went through all of this stuff.
Absolutely.
And then now it's coming back up again, and it's like conflicting.
But he's not dead.
He was, and she thought he was emotionally, and she dealt with it in that way.
Not.
And then she's going to have to deal with that too.
You want to know what's real offensive to me? They didn't end up together.
Yeah.
Actually, I was rooting for the other person anyway. I never liked
in the show and in the book. They never ended up with the first person. Their original
stuff. What I'm hearing is when I die and come back, you're not going to pick me. I'm not even going to bother coming back at that point.
If you come back from the dead and you don't come back for me, I'm going to be so pissed at you.
Oh, so it's okay for me to come back, but you're not going to pick me.
I didn't say I wasn't going to pick you. I never said I wasn't going to pick you.
You have implied. I have inferred.
Oh, you inferred wrong. I'm just saying that it would be challenging, but I'm telling you right now, if you come back and you don't come for me, I'm going to come for you.
Oh, you're going to kill me with a knife again.
Chainsaw and a knife at the same time. You're going to wish you stayed dead.
Anyway, this is Love Lessons. Mm-hmm. This is NPR. Our love note today is a simple reminder that Christmas was never meant to be a burden. There is a lot of crazy things going on this time of year. You're trying to buy gifts, you're trying to coordinate schedules, you're trying to get to 14 different family get-togethers, and all while trying to make sure that everybody's happy. And if you are the planner and the organizer in your family, it brings with it a lot of stress and sometimes a lot of heartache. If you compound that with trauma that some people experience around this time of year from either losing a loved one or growing up in a bad family situation, it can just bring a lot of hurt and heartache to you. And so please let this be a gentle reminder that this season is about remembering Christ coming to earth, God taking upon flesh and dwelling among us so that he could live a perfect and sinless life, that he could die and receive the wrath of what we should have received as punishment so that we can live in eternity worshiping him. You know, we have this gift and this sign in our living room at home that says the magic of Christmas is not found in the presents, but in the gift of his presence. And so in the middle of the hecticness and the frustrations and the challenges, it's my hope and prayer that you seek his presence this holiday season.
Well, I've got to go now. I have to go regulate my emotions.
How come? Did something bad happen?
I'm feeling some type of way about you.
Why?
I'm not feeling puppy love, if you want to know.
Are you feeling puppy rage?
I'm feeling no love at this point.
Well, again, it was a gift for the audience, not for you. Mm-hmm. This is the season of giving, Blair. It's giving season.
It's giving something.
Please.
It's giving something.
Please don't give me an early death.
I'm taking back all of your presents.
Dang it.
Mm-hmm. You get nothing.
Not even coal.
Nope.
Did you see that thing going around on Facebook that said, hey, if you're also getting coal for Christmas, let's link up and we can fire up the grill or something?
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
No, you're not allowed to do that.
Dang it.
You can't hang out with any friends either.
Am I grounded?
You're grounded.
Can I go to my room?
Nope.
Where do I have to go?
You have to go to the kitchen.
Dang it. I don't like any of this.
Dishes and dinner.
All right, guys. Well, it's been nice knowing you. Mm-hmm. Blair's going to go get that knife again. Mm-hmm. And I'll be lucky if I ever see you.
If this episode makes it to air, you're alive. Because you have to produce it and edit it. So if you're hearing this, Zach is okay. Zach is okay.
We are taking off for Christmas. So there will be no episode next week. Just let the joy of this episode burn in your hearts until we return. This is stupid. We're leaving. Bye.
See ya.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Love Lessons Podcast. If you're enjoying the show, please feel free to rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcast. That helps others find the show, and we greatly appreciate it. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.